is William Browder. He's an American-born British businessman and political activist who was responsible for the first serious sanctions to hit Russian oligarchs and those close to Vladimir Putin. The sanctions regime, the Magnitsky Act, named after Browder's former attorney, Sergei Magnitsky, now takes the form of law in several countries. Magnitsky himself blew the whistle on massive fraud committed by the Russian government and its officials and was subsequently killed in a Russian prison. Bill Browder is the CEO of Hermitage Capital Management. He's the head of the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign, which continues calls for targeted sanctions and visa bans against human rights abusers around the world. He's also the author of the upcoming book, Freezing Order, a true story of money laundering, murder, and surviving Vladimir Putin's wrath. Bill, thank you for being with us. I knew as soon as I heard those comments, that speech by Joe Biden yesterday, I wanted to talk to you about it because Joe Biden, deliberately or inadvertently, scripted or ad-libbed, said something that a lot of people, including you, have been saying for a long time, that Vladimir Putin's got to go.
It's entirely clear that Vladimir Putin is a serial killer, a war criminal, and torn up the entire rule book. He's put the United States and Europe in a various existentially threatening position, and we can't allow him to carry on. I don't think that this was an accident. I don't think that Biden just sort of thought it up on the stage and said it. I've watched this video a number of times. It doesn't feel like an accident to me, and it looks to me like sort of an interesting way of playing psychological warfare on Vladimir Putin. The president of the United States says that Putin doesn't deserve to be president, and just so that the Russians can't latch onto that and say that America's at war, they have the Secretary of State walking it back. I think this is very deliberate. I think it served its purpose, and I think it would put Putin on notice, which is that we're not just going to sanction you, we're going to try to get you out of this job.
Yeah, that's the view I took, Bill, and you know about the story better than I do. My sense is that, wow, a no-fly zone would have been good, but going for Putin and suggesting that the leader of the free world might actually rally his troops or the people, the leaders of the free world around that stuff, including little things like kicking them out of G20, which Biden is trying to do, it is an entirely opposite world than the one that existed with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is getting the snub from Joe Biden, and the snub might hit him harder than people think.
There's no question that he's completely now isolated from all these world leaders and heads of state and other people who he so coveted and wanted to be part of. And this is such an important part of the whole story, which is Vladimir Putin thought before this invasion that he could divide us. He thought that we were all so narrow-minded, that we all cared so much about our own business interests, that when he did something terrible, like killing a bunch of Ukrainians, that we would all just sort of try to find a way not to do anything. And that's not happened. We've completely surrounded him. We've locked arms. Even the biggest Putin apologists have joined us in this exercise. He's economically surrounded. The Ukrainians are getting weapons. And then the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, has gone on the record and saying this man shouldn't be president. That's a very powerful message to Vladimir Putin.
Let's talk about sanctions. You really worked hard to design the Magnitsky Acts that are around the world to be something that targeted Putin and oligarchs and people around him without hurting average Russians who have nothing to do with this thing. Obviously, we have ramped up sanctions now with the American companies that have pulled out, with the various things that are going on that do affect average Russians who do not get to just go to the ballot like everybody else and vote Putin out if they get dissatisfied. So what position does this put Russian people in? The Kremlin had said it's not up to Biden to decide who runs Russia. It's up to the Russian people. You know that's BS. It's not up to the Russian people.
Well, there's no democracy in Russia. Anytime an opposition candidate appears, like Alexei Navalny, they try to kill him. Boris Nemtsov, they did kill. Garry Kasparov, they exiled. So there is no democracy in Russia. And it would have been nice if we had been a lot tougher before this invasion with targeted sanctions, so we didn't have to affect the Russian population more broadly. They are all effectively hostages to Vladimir Putin as well, some of them willing, some of them unwilling. But we're not in a place where we have that luxury anymore. He is killing thousands and thousands of people in Ukraine. every day, every week, every month, and we can no longer sort of tiptoe around this whole story. We've got to throw everything that we possibly can at Russia, surround Vladimir Putin completely economically, and that means freezing the central bank reserves, freezing the money of the oligarchs, and stopping anybody doing business with Russia. And it's unfortunate that the Russian people have to suffer, but the Ukrainian people are dying right now, and we have got to do everything we possibly can to put pressure on Putin.
Bill, thanks as always for joining us. Bill Browder is Hermitage Capital Management CEO, and he's the head of the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign.